Okay, this is the tutorial for running camera 2. Camera 2 is mainly used to follow the pastor during the sermon and the main person speaking throughout the service. So if you're ever in question of which shot you should get, it should be the main person. The person singing during worship or the pastor preaching during the sermon. And the main role of this camera, as far as it relates to the side screens, is IMAG. IMAG means image magnification. And what that means is we want the person on screen to appear bigger than in real life, especially if you were sitting further back like this, so that we can connect more with our subject. When you come over to your camera, it'll be off, and you have to turn it on by coming over to the on-off switch, which is right here. And once the camera is on, you should see an image come up on your screen over here. Now initially your camera will be locked on the left side, and you'll need to unlock the pan and unlock the tilt. And then your drag is controlled by the knobs with the yellow numbers on it. It goes from 0 to 9, 0 being the least amount of drag, 9 being the most. Typically you'll want to have a higher drag because it promotes stability. So if you come up to your camera and you unlock it and it's out of balance, that is, it continues to tilt up or down whenever you let go of it, it needs to be rebalanced. And the way you do that is you unlock the plate, which is right here, and then you move the camera forwards or backwards. It takes a good shove to get it to move, until when you let go, it stops moving. It's pretty simple like that. And then once you get it to a spot that's pretty close, that is when you take your hands off, it stops moving, you want to lock your plate back down as tight as you can go. And that might require you to jiggle the camera a little bit to take the weight off of a certain area. Then your camera is properly balanced, and then when you take your hands off, it stops moving. Your focus is controlled by your left hand grip over here. By turning right, righty-tighty, it brings the focus towards you. Lefty-loosey, it pushes the focus away from you. So whenever you're filming or whenever you're live and you want to do a small adjustments to your focus, not very big movements like that. You want them to be small so that you can get it right. Your focus assist button is up here to the bottom right of your camera. You need to have that on. It'll turn the image black and white and add a red outlining image to whatever is in focus. So if it's out of focus, the red image outline goes away. If it's in focus, the red image outline will be in what's within the focal plane. Your zoom is controlled by your right hand. Zoom in by turning to the right. Zoom out by turning to the left. And you can control your zoom speed up here. And it takes a second to, once you start turning, to find your zoom, but you want to get into it smoothly so that anyone barely even notices. The rule of thirds is if you drew a tic-tac-toe sign on your screen, dividing it up evenly, that you want your subject to fall on one of the thirds. And what you typically don't want is their head right in the middle of the shot. That never looks good. But whenever you're following the speaker, you want them in the center with their eyes falling on the top third, like so. So if your speaker musician is facing this way, you want to give them what's called nose room, the space in front of their nose. And this is an example of a bad shot. There's not enough nose room, and it looks like something's going on behind her that we don't know about. So when your subject sways within the shot, we definitely don't want to motion track the sway. That is, their feet aren't moving. What we want is their shoulders to stay inside of the shot. And if they get a little close to the edge, you barely, ever so slightly, try to catch up with them. Now when your subject starts walking, you definitely want to give them enough lead room without letting their shoulders go out of screen. That's kind of the rules. We just don't want the person's shoulders to go out of the screen. Definitely want to watch the room above her head, not cutting off her head like this. We don't want to give her too much headroom like this. But again, we want the eyes to fall on the upper third, about like that. Specific camera instructions, panning and tilting. We don't want to get those confused. Panning is left and right. Tilting is up and down. Outside of camera direction, you'll hear three things from your director about whether or not other people can see you. Standby means you're up next. That means if you have a plan for a shot, you need to get ready for it, or they're about to come to you. You're live means that you're live. Someone can see you. So whatever you do from there on needs to be well thought out and no jerking movements or no shaking movements, anything like that. A few don'ts for the cameraman. Don't clutch your grips like you're riding a motorcycle. You want to have a fingertip touch and ever so slightly move this thing around, because we don't want your pulse or your shaky hands to translate into a camera shot and it looks shaky as you move around. We don't want to have fast zooms like this being seen by others. Now sometimes you need to get to a shot quickly and you got to get there. But whenever you're live, things need to slow down and go into smooth mode. One thing you don't want to let the pastor do is walk out of the frame during the sermon. You don't even want their shoulders to be out of the frame like this. And definitely don't fall asleep if you're working camera 2, even though you got to sit through 3 sermons. And definitely don't take your headset off, because even though you think you've got it under control, your director might have specific instruction for you, like multiple people coming into frame or an object coming into frame that we need to get. So keep your headset on, don't fall asleep, no jerky movements, no fast zooming while you're live, and that's it. Have fun with camera 2.